What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for this week's episode of Persona 5 Dynamics. And wow, this week, voice acting, Haru's voice actress, she was damn good this episode. Art animation was actually really good for P5 standards. I was just like, alright, A1, you got your shit together. And it looks like A1 has indeed extended the episode count for P5 because, as you guys know, as I said last week, A1, there's no way A1 could do, like adapt the rest of Persona 5 within a reasonable time frame in, 4 episodes. And now it's 3, and I'm like, nah, they can't. They've done a pretty good job with the pacing, but I'm like, you guys need at least 5, I would have to say, depending on, the speed, I would say probably, 5 episodes, probably a little less, in all honesty, of episodes you need to finish all of P5 to real time for. Probably would end up being maybe even 10 if you want to add of course confidences. You want to put the confidences back in there. You want to cover a few more content, which I hope to God they focus on Futaba. If they do extend the episode count, which it looks like they have, and it's a decent chunk, now if they're going to just focus on canon material from here on out, no more confidences, then I'm completely cool with that. But if they end up also extending all through confidences, I really hope they do Futaba. Like I said, Futaba's confidence was my most interesting, and maybe even do a little bit of comics, but at this point, I'm not going to hold my breath for that. But, alright, let us address the elephant in the room. Today, of course, is August 25th, and today was also, of course, the KSI versus Logan fight. I've already done my reactions. They have already both been recorded. I will most likely be dropping those videos. I'll try sometime this week, along with SummerSlam. I'll try to get this and SummerSlam reactions out sometime this week. That's my plan. But with me starting college now and the workload I got, workload I got for college, I don't know. Just telling you guys right now. But as we find now, for any of you guys watching this video who do want to see the fight, but you want no spoilers, you don't want to know who won, who lost. Or for the people that just frankly don't give two flying fucks about this shit, skip ahead a couple minutes. But I'll try and keep this. Brief. Okay, so Deji lost by TKO to Jake, and KSI and Logan ended in a draw. Now I know what a lot of you might be thinking or saying, or some of you, I don't really know my audience how they are relative to the Paul bro, but they might be saying oh Glenn, you were talking mad shit about how KSI and Deji were gonna whoop Jake and Logan Paul's ass. You were saying yeah, they're gonna beat him in at the first round and shit, they're gonna knock him out. Now what you guys say now? Where's all that shit talking now, boy? Jake Paul is Logan for life Maverick, I'm not gonna be one to be like, it was rigged. The Paul Bros paid off the refs. Nah. I mean, did they? I don't know, maybe. I don't know, because frankly, I don't think that was a draw with KSI's fight. I think KSI won that fight. I don't think that should have ended in a draw, but that could just be me being biased because I love KSI and I hate Logan. But I will give Deji, I will talk about. Let me talk about right now. Deji, the man earns my respect. He was already one of my favorite. I love Deji. He's one of my personal favorite YouTubers. I always love watching his vids. But as we know, he wasn't an athlete, and for what he did compared to Jay, who was a wrestler at one point, Deji did a pretty good job. Well, he held his own. He held his own against Jake, and plus he made the fucker bleed. So there's that. So he's already done the internet a grave service by making that motherfucker bleed. So, I'm happy when it comes to seeing Logan and Jake both bleeding. And KSI, he did a great job as always. He got Logan to bleed a little bit. He had ultra instinct with those dodges he was doing. Great shit. But enough jibber jabber. Enough talk about the fight. Let us begin on the actual episode. Alright, so we start off. We got Haru, of course, she tells her about the arranged marriage that she has, and she actually goes in about her past. Now, I think the game also talked about she did talk about her past, about how, the origins of Okumura foods, but of course, but even like I said about if there's one thing the anime has done a fantastic job, it's without doubt expanding on the events of the game, which they have done here. Which, of course, showing flashbacks to when Haru was a kid, back when her grandfather was running Okumura Foods. back when it was just like, little ordinary little cafes, And when I saw this, I was also a little salty because they didn't do it for Best Group Futaba. Granted, the hieroglyphics got the message across, and so they really didn't need to, but I mean, I was like, come on, A1, you could have done it for Best Group Futaba too, but and I got a little sleep over it. But she talks about how her grandfather was definitely when it came to him running his business, he cared more about customer satisfaction really than making the green. She said she cared more about having smiles on the customers' faces than profits. Of course, we see little Haru when she was a little kid drinking coffee. She was like, it's bitter, and then she said that he would often, he didn't care about profits. Like he wouldn't he didn't care if you were just some guy that was just sitting there, lingering on one cup of coffee. Hell, he would as she stated that the dude would even give out free meals to those guys, to people that couldn't afford it. So he's a very nice man, but running a business like that certainly isn't really good for your profits. And as we see, her father, once her grandfather passed away, once he took over for Okumura Foods, he pretty much got rid of the cafes, and of course had a policy that focused more on profits rather than customer satisfaction, which of course how it got the name, how he's like how Okumura Foods turned into, as we find out, a sweatshop. And so she goes. So she goes on about profits and like I said, I love the flashbacks here because like Lil Haru and all that. It was great to see A1 putting that in there. He also, and then she goes on about how she's like she's tired of following orders of following these strict orders of marrying this dude. She doesn't want to marry him. She doesn't like looking at her father because of what he's become. She wants him to be like how he used to be before he got, I guess, clouded with greed. I wouldn't even say really greed, because he's not someone that's very greedy. I mean, I guess you kind of could say he is greedy, but he's definitely someone that focuses a lot more on making actual money and making profits than being being good to his actual workers, and because they found a sweatshop, he doesn't really care for them, yada 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 yada. And so she tells her that what's the date you guys got before we have to before you gotta move in. She says September 30th. So then they get back to his palace. They actually tell Haru Haru, just you stay on the sidelines, let us take care of this, because we find out that her persona isn't really that strong because she hasn't had a full awakening, as we find out. Now this also happened in the game where we kind of saw where she didn't reach her true awakening. I guess when she got her costume, but she awoken, but it was kind of halfway. She didn't go full on. It's I guess it's if you only went halfway super. It's I guess you could say it's almost you went halfway Super Saiyan. I guess you could say, if I had to compare it to literally anything. I guess they're going full flesh, golden hair Super Saiyan, or I don't know, something along those lines. I guess I don't know. Anyway. So she ends up fine, and they end up figuring out what her code name is. She wants to be called Noir, because it's French for black, and as we she dresses like a musketeer. And they actually want to look what's up with the whole beauty thief thing you got wrong. She talks about how she's been how she was a fan of female superheroes when she was a kid, so she wants to be like them. I mean, if I had to assume, probably people like Wonder Woman and girls like that. But so she opens the door. Inside is actually her father, along with the asshole that she's supposed to marry. He goes on about that you can have her, I don't care. She's only a stepping stone for me to get, of course, into politics, which, as we find out, which we already know, that Okumura does want to get into politics. I guess rule Japan or whatever. He wants to be one of the head officers in the political world of Japan. And the dude says ooh, having a high school fiance is interesting, or it's exciting. He said something along those lines. Just I'm like, alright, bro, alright, bro. Somebody get rid of this asshole. So the Phantom Thieves get rid of him. We see Haru actually reaches her true awakening when she turns into this robot, and he comes heading towards her. Then she reaches her true awakening, where I see her persona and everything, and we get the I am thou art I. She's alright, she gets her full-fledged awakening. Looks really cool. We see her take it down. We even see like her all out attack. And it's the same, and and like I said, like when we saw it a while ago, I forget when. When was the last time we saw the all-out attack in its full-fledged glory? It's been a while, honestly. He talks, and then it pretty much is like down in the game with like the backgrounds and everything. It looks great. I'm glad everyone fixed it to where it looks pretty much looks like the game. Because before, you guys saw me from the beginning. Ooh, the all-out attacks didn't look that great. Back when P5 first started, I'm like, ooh. Everyone has thankfully fixed that. So they transfer. So they go through the rest of the palace. They actually get to where they also show us some parts where we see her working on her garden a couple times, but then we get back to where she actually takes down, where we actually then of course she takes down Okumura. Art animation here was great. I love the art animation. It wasn't anything like mind blowing. Like it's like on the levels like Levi's Chase and Attack on Titan season 3 that happened a few weeks back. It ain't on the level of really most of the stuff that's that happened in Hirawaka recently. But from A1 standards and what we got in P5, it was really damn good. We even got to see we see the Phanthees, they're working together, taking down Okumura. We even see Morgana's all-out attack too, which was, I guess, that was also nice to see because we actually haven't seen it yet. As far as I remember, we haven't seen his all-out attack yet, so that was cool to see his as well in the anime. So then they eventually take him down. We then finally see. And then of course get the scene where Eli regrets what he's done. He says he's gonna change his heart. Yada yada yada. The building starts collapsing and everything. Then him leaving. Haru has some words for Fox on change your ways. Go back to your word. Yada yada yada. He then just from now on Haru I will change to leave. Of course we also saw before I even mentioned this. There's something I actually forgot to mention. We see right before they find the treasure. We see that of course that he did get the calling card, and then he actually got the cops involved immediately. And we see Haru behind him on his pillar. He says goes to the police, and this was on the news about how how he did receive a calling card, which is we haven't seen that before because usually all the other guys that did get the calling cards never really went to the police. It was kind of it was something else. But this was very open. It was talked about in the news. He called the cops because he of course we know Phanthees change your hearts, yada 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 yada. So back to where it was. We see Haru. He says he's gonna change his ways and everything after Haru leaves. But then after he says I'm gonna change my ways. I'm gonna be a good businessman that actually cares about his workers. He gets shot. And he ends up fading, in which, as we of course know, that his shadow has died. Which, of course, when your shadow dies, your mind breaks, and that you, of course, have a mental shutdown, and of course, die. Then we see the shadowy figure smile. Now, as you guys know, I know what happens in P5. Like I said, I watched Let's Play of it, so I know who this masked individual is. I'm not gonna tell you who he is because I don't want to spoil you anime only. But ooh, do I look forward to seeing that? That's gonna be good. So then Haru talks. Then we get back to Haru where she's at her garden. And she talks about how that they ask hey, how's your father doing? And she says that he's still shut in his office. He hasn't spoken. Hasn't been giving a decent answer. His voice lacks really any real emotion to it. And and then Yusuke's they have this Madara, the same thing happened with him. You're good. But as we find out, he's not good because his shadow was also killed. So yeah. So then they end up going to Disneyland. It's something else, but it's pretty much Disneyland. They go on roller coasters. It's mostly portrayed in stills, like the Hawaii stuff, but whatever. It goes on, so yeah, they have their fun at Disneyland as a celebration for taking down another victim. Haru even says it's actually one thing I forgot to say. I think this was actually back at the beginning of the episode. Haru actually stated that she actually called up the fan, she actually filled in a request on the fan side before she got in because of also their father. Because as we know, she because of what her father has done, with the sweatshots and everything. And Kira even told her, hey, you're gonna be labeled as a criminal's daughter. And she's like, I've been preparing for that ever since the rumors started first coming out about the sweatshop, and he now really treated his employees. So Haru was willing, able, and ready to take the consequences of whatever was exposing to the world what his father has done, and making him towards change his heart to expose all this. We then see, and so they get on there. So then they're kind of chilling in this little table area. They grab, I think Ryuji grabs out his phone. Someone grabs out their phone, and it's this press conference where of course he explains yes, the rumors you have heard about it being a sweatshop, and I don't really care for employees, all that stuff. It was all true. It was all true, but we also hear this other guy on the phone. It's the head honcho of the police station. I forget his name. He goes we're taking down two birds with one stone. Unfortunately, it does say we did lose a confident, a convenience. I think it was our confident, convenient, some of those lines, source of revenue. But we're taking care of two birds with one stone. Yeah. And so he explains, and then and Haru's everything. All right, he's gonna explain the details about the mental shutdown. They asked him about the mental shutdown, so went back with his shadow, but his shadow wasn't really wasn't revealing anything because of he was defeated and everything. So he says I have one last major announcement I have to make, and right when he says it, this black stuff comes out of his eyes like tears, and it comes out of his nose, and he faints. His eyes are rolled back of his head. He faints, and everyone's turn off your camera. And he's and then he says of course little technical dude, please wait for us. It's just flowers. It's the street just shot of just flowers with please bear with us, or technical difficulties or whatever it said. And everyone, of course, is shocked, oh my god, what the fuck happened? What did we do? Did we do something wrong? What happened? Oh my god, he's dead. And Haru's voice actress. Haru's voice actress. Somebody give that woman a raise. She just yells no, and the emotion in her voice when she said no is great job there, A1. You did a phenomenal job with that. And so that's where the episode. And we also get this little post-credit scene, where we see Sai. They're talking, or Sai and Akechi. They're talking about, of course, what just went down, and she talks about, and Akechi's one maybe was next to the Phantom Thieves that actually did this, and she's like, oh, where's your proof? And he's like, I don't have any, and she's like, no, I will take down the Phantom Thieves by myself. Which, I'm not going to tell you guys right now, the next person to actually get, that will be targeted by the Phantom Thieves, if you don't want to know, click off at this point, or skip ahead, will actually be Sai. Well, actually, yeah, she'll be the next target for the Phantom Thieves. Will be Sai, as the second to last target for the Phantom Thieves. So yeah, I'm looking because now this is really a lot of stuff happens with Sai's palace. Like shit goes down in Sai's palace. So you anime onlys, you're not ready. You're not ready to see what's down there in Sai's palace. So, and I'm looking forward to re-seeing it again, in the anime, because the A1's doing a phenomenal job with the animation, with the anime. I'm looking forward to see what they have in store for us. So, yeah. So, overall, I give this episode a 10 out of 10. I was originally going to give this episode a 9.5, but when I heard that no from Haru, I was like, okay, alright, A1, you get the 10 out of 10 final verdict from yours truly after seeing it, because, the voice acting. Oh, my God. And overall, A1 this is definitely, and A1 did a pretty bang up job. We even got this one moment from Top where she was she was helping out the crew to give a smile and a thumbs up. That was great to see. Y'all know I love me some. I love it when I get some Futaba moments. Futaba's A1 has done such a great job with Futaba in the anime. But yeah, like I said, this is definitely one of the better episodes we've gotten in some time, actually. Because keep in mind, Haru wasn't really now, granted, this anime hasn't made me fall more in love with Haru, but I definitely say A1 has definitely did a better job with Haru's palace as a whole than the game did with the voice acting. Now, like I said, I'm not dissing the dub. The dub for P5 was great, but with the added details, showing off Haru's path, about Okumura Falls was back when her grandfather had it, the little moments where we saw cute little Haru when she was a little kid, that was great to see. like I said, A1's been a fan of the anime. Like I said, I like. Now I'm not about to say like oh the anime is better than the game, but in terms of just the main story as a whole, I say A1 has done a better job with it than the main game itself because of all the little extra details they have added. That were in the game with like showing off the past of like Morgana with not Morgana with Makoto, Haru, a little bit of Yusuke in there. When they showed up with Futaba, a little bit with how they tackled Futaba stuff. Yeah, like I said, this episode was phenomenal this week. It was amazing. So yeah. So hope you all enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you subscribe if you're new. Follow my Instagram, Twitter if you feel like it. Links are down below. As always, come back for more. See you guys next time.